Hello. Thank you, Christina. You're amazing. Hey, you guys, before we kick this call off, my name is Stephanie Milky, tuning in from Minnesota. Can you guys tell Christina thank you in the chat for always running these calls for us? Give her a high five. Christina, we love you. And getting the replays very quickly for our teams who work during the day. We are so thankful that she does this for us. So she's pretty amazing as she does her mommy things, right? The beauty of being able to run this business and work from home and stay with your kids and all of the things, or part-time, whatever it is for you. All right, as we dive into this call or Zoom, welcome. I'm tuning in from Minnesota. If I do not know you, my husband, Steve, and myself have been sharing ketones, drinking ketones since June 2015, over 8 years. That seems like forever ago. We're super thankful and we love this. We love this. And I have to constantly remind myself why, so that I never forget why I started. If you do not do that, I would say do that. I think it's super important. So before we start, I want to get your mindset right. And in the chat thread, I would love for you to share, if you can, tell me one thing you're thankful for today, right? Your mindset is super important. What are you thankful for today? And what is one thing, if you did you listen to a book? Did you listen to a podcast? Is there a book that you're like, you all should read this? I just think it's super important. We talk about mindset a lot. We talk about personal growth. We talk about attitude of gratitude. And I will tell you, when you shift your mindset and your perspective to be thankful, even to the point where at church, our pastor said yesterday, she said, every single day I drive up to my home, and every single day when I drive into my driveway, I say, thank you, Lord, for this house. Like, how often do we just say thank you for the things that we take for granted? So I had my girls do that this morning. I'm like, thank you for this house. Thank you for our lake. Thank you that I can stay home with our girls and homeschool. We should always be in a state of gratitude. I love it. You said the community and all the things you're thankful for, 100%. So thank you for playing full out. Before we dive into a little bit of what I'm going to share and Jenna Gainey is going to share with you, I just want you to think about, and if you're taking notes, write this down or just reflect for a second. How has been the first week of August for you? Do you know your numbers? If you looked in your Prove It Pulse app and you saw this, how many of you drop a 1 in the chat if you're running for the summer sprint? What does that mean? This is just a reminder. I'm going to give you a couple of things to remind you. If you hit MVP by the 15th, you're going to get an extra $500 and tokens towards your Mexico trip. If you hit it by the end of the month, you get an extra $250 and points towards your Mexico trip. So one of the biggest things I wanted to remind you or reflect on is, how is your first week? Do you know your numbers? How many new boxes do you have sold to hit MVP? And then what you do is you take your last 3 weeks of the month and you either reverse engineer it, or you go, I better kick it up a notch. I've got 1 week to hit the 500, or I've got the rest of the month to hit the 250. Either way, it's great. How do you hit goals? You look at how much time you have and you reverse engineer it. You work backwards and you go, oh my goodness, I have 10 new boxes sold. I need to get 15 more. The basic view of how I walk people through MVP, and there's lots of ways to do it, is I say 25 new boxes this month. That 25 new boxes, it could come in the form of promoters and customers, a customer buying 2, one customer. Basically, it boils down to 25 boxes. I'm not counting smart ships from last month. I'm just saying the easiest way to explain it. Now, if you do not have alarm clocks set for today, I would highly recommend that you set an alarm clock for today's call with Jessie Lee. It's tonight, and she's going to go over MVP. She always has incredible insights and will probably help reverse engineer that. So set an alarm clock for MVP call with Jessie Lee tonight. And then we also have our maximized ketones tonight. I'm pretty sure Dustin's doing it. So what I do every single morning is I get up, I do my DMOs for my business. I set all of my alarms so I don't forget about the calls. If you can't be on it, it's okay. We'll have the replay. But if you can be on it, it's going to be really great. All of them are. So here is a thought for you today. I was talking to Jenna and I said, Jenna, hey, drop a 2 in the chat. Who's joining us in Dallas? Is anybody joining us in Dallas on Friday? You guys, I'm so excited to see so many of you. It's going to be so great. Really quick, it's not too late. If you have a couple people that you want to join, guess what? I think there's like 15 tickets left. Nick could say yes or no, but there are a couple tickets. If you can get somebody to join you in Dallas, listen, there might be some special guests. Not just like Dustin will be there and Nick will be there and I will be there and Katie Rollins, I think, will be there. She's got some family stuff going on. There's a lot of people that are going to be there. Jessie Lee's going to be there. We might have some extra guests joining us. I'm just going to say might just to make sure. You guys, it's going to be a great all day, one day playbook event to build this business. If you can join us in Dallas, I want you to be there. Get details from the person that you're working with. All right. One of the topics that I really feel like is super important, I was chatting with some of the team on what we should coach in Dallas and the importance of different things here. Just make sure you're doing this in the Prove It Promoter group. Whether it's you or anybody that's joining us or anybody that's brand new. For yesterday, Sunday, I did a really quick under 20-minute live about ACE. There's going to be lives for the rest of this week leading up to Dallas, one a day, about basic building blocks of building this business. When you come to Dallas, we really don't want to teach you ACE. We really don't want to teach you social media 101. We're doing live so that you can watch it, so that we can dive into some serious action and you can hear other people's stories of how they're building this business. One of the things we're going to talk about in Dallas is growing your network. Raise your hand. How many of you feel like I need to grow my network? I need to know where to find people. How do I find new people? We're going to really go heavily into that, but I really wanted to touch base on that here quickly this morning. I wanted to talk, it's going to be a collaboration. Jen is going to hop on and she's going to talk about attracting. She's got something she wants to share with you. And then as she's sharing and as she's talking, I want you to be thinking about, how do I attract new people? What are some things that I am physically doing to get in front of new people? I'm going to ask for you to share that in a little bit. Jenna Gainey, I would love for you to hop on, share what you wanted to talk about attracting, and then we're going to ping pong back and forth about, what are we doing to attract new people? What are the environments we're going? What are we doing? Because ultimately, you've got friends and family and people that follow you on social media, and we need to find people that are looking for us, people that need us. Where are we finding those people? So let's start with attraction. Jenna Gainey, how is your morning?
Hi, it is going well. We're preparing for storms. But they're not going to be here while we're on this. So this will be great. We won't lose Wi-Fi. I was worried about that earlier. Anyway, for those of you who know me or who don't know me, my name is Jenna Gainey. I'm from the East Coast in West Virginia. Love it here. Been with Prove It for 5.5 years. I started very skeptical. I actually told Stephanie no. I don't know how many times I told her no in my head. But if she hadn't have followed up with me, I don't know who needs to hear this today, but if she hadn't followed up with me about 10 times in a 2-month period or 3-month period, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have been able to walk away from my full-time job. I wouldn't be able to homeschool my kids. So I was one of the ones who would have not been here had she not followed up diligently with me. So who you need to follow up with. Last time I was on here, that's what we talked about. So that is me, a little bit about me. But I want to ask you a question before we get started, because we're talking about this attraction piece. And I love what Stephanie is going to share with you after this too, but it doesn't matter if we're talking about attraction on social media or attraction in person. I want to know if you feel like the attraction piece, you're not quite sure about it. Drop a 3 in the chat if you feel like you don't have it down yet. And just be super honest. This isn't to point anyone out. I think self-awareness and self-assessment is super important when it comes to growing our businesses and our networks, right? Awesome. Thank you guys for being so honest. I, for years, felt like I didn't have the attraction thing down. And then guys, sometimes, I've been here for almost 5.5 years. And sometimes I'm still like, oh, I don't know if this is going very well, right? As far as my attraction piece, we have the ACE, we attract people so that we can connect them to our product or to ourselves, to our brands, whatever, and enroll them with a box of ketones or a promoter pack, right? So is everybody following me there? with some head nods. The most important part is attracting. So I want to talk to you about mostly attraction online, attraction on social media. You've heard what I'm about to say 3,247 times is energy is everything, right? So if you're attracting through live videos, for example, I want you to program yourself to do a little wiggling and shaking like Joseph McClendon teaches us, get up and dance, run around before you get on live with someone. All right. Especially if you have programmed, scheduled lives, like I do Sunday night lives. And if I am not feeling it on a Sunday, or if it is, sometimes I tell too much of, I'm a nurse. I can't help it. I don't have a filter. I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but if I don't feel like going live, right? I got to do a happy dance before I do it, or people are going to pop off as soon as they pop on because of my energy. So first of all, energy is everything. But here's what I want to say very quickly about attraction. It is an art. But the beautiful thing about art is that we can learn it, right? And if you've been here for a really long time, like I have, we have to self-assess, just like we did with the threes in the comments. We have to sometimes go back and look at our social medias. And I want you to do that today. Like as I'm speaking right now, if you want to pull up your Facebook, your Instagram, your TikTok, whatever you're on, all of them, I want you to look at what it's telling people. If you attract someone in different ways, whether on social media or off social media, your profile is the first thing that they're going to see. And I think that like a quarterly self-assessment, even if you're very new at this, maybe every week or every 2 weeks, every month, an assessment of what you're putting out on social media is very important. So let's learn the art. So knowing that attraction is an art is number one. The goal with attracting is not chasing people, okay? We're not hunting or chasing, we're attracting. So how do we attract, right? And the goal is I want these people watching me. I want these strangers to become friends. I want these friends to become family in our community. How does that happen? The goal is to have them extend you an olive branch, right? Have them extend you an olive branch, because this branch is something that you can latch onto. It could be a like, it could be a comment, it could be a share, it could be a message. That's something to latch onto. They've invited you to grab on to whatever they put there, a like, a comment, or whatever, and then you can have a conversation with them. And the conversation is where the magic happens. Conversation is where the relationships are built. A conversation is where, if we join teams like this, right? Which is the most exciting part. So how do we get people to extend us that olive branch and continuously, right? We at least want a new person to talk to every single day. It is creating content. Yeah. Okay. I'm only talking about social media right now. It is creating content. We need to, again, manage our energy as we're creating the content. Is the content repelling to people? Is it inviting to people? Is our energy repelling? Is it inviting? This is why that self-assessment of our pages is so important. And a tip here is to, when we're creating content, any content, guys, a post, a story, a TikTok, a live, whatever type of content you're making, be yourself, because you want to attract people who are like you, I think, right? So you have to know what you value. Do you value, what are your values, right? What are your morals? What drives you? What kind of people do you like to be around? Be that on social media, show up like that on social media. And those are the people that you're going to attract. So assignment number one today, well, number two, I guess, is what do you value? Make a list. It can be 2 things, 3 things. Do you value people who are loyal? Do you value people who are kind? Do you value people who are aggressive? Do you value people who are blunt? Do you value community? What do you value? Okay. So write a list of what you value. Come back to this again. Check yourself regularly. Sometimes things can change as you go through seasons of life. I know it has for me, right? And then make sure that your content that you're creating is in alignment with what you value. Now, if you are a person on here that's like, I just want customers, 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 right? You're not so heavy on maybe the recruiting or the promoter part. this still holds true for if you just are a lean, mean, get the customers in the machine type of person, okay? Because you don't want to deal with a negative Nancy, rude customer, right? Yeah, they can go somewhere else. That's how I like to run my business. I want to attract the energy that I want to deal with every single day. Okay, so number one, assess your profiles. Number two, what do you value? Make sure that your content is in line with that. A problem that I see as we're trying to attract people, and maybe a question that you might have in your mind right now is, and we say this a lot, like, who are you? Who are you? What do you like to do? And I think for some of us, we kind of have lost. My husband might be walking in, so if he does, the dog will bark and I'll mute out Stephanie, but okay. Let me go back to my notes. Oh, if some of us have lost who we really are, right? Life has happened. Maybe we've let people strip us of who we actually are, or maybe we know who we are and we don't know how to portray that on social media. And so lastly, how do we portray who we are and who we want to attract on social media? How can we be intentional with this? And the answer is through storytelling. So everybody write that down. Are you intentional through storytelling? Okay, and we do not need to overthink this. But if you want to be a master attractor of customers, a master attractor of business partners, and certain types of people, we have to master the art of storytelling, attraction through storytelling. So I think the best way to do that, well, number one, is to remember not to overcomplicate it. I touched on that for a second, but I didn't finish my thought. What happened to you 5 minutes ago was a story. This Zoom is a story that you can tell. You have a story that you can tell from yesterday, the day before. You might have 15 that you can tell from last week, right? Your life is a story. So take something that happened, a lesson that you learned through what happened to you, tell the story, paint the picture on social media. And here is the biggest key ever. When you're telling the story on social media, make sure you tell it in a way that you're going to speak to somebody's pain point. Because facts tell and stories sell. We've heard that a million times. Facts tell, stories who tug on people's emotions, people can't help but react to that. Okay. So speak to their pain points, and very quickly, I will give you some examples of what pain points are. My son is playing video games next to me. If you're telling a story, a lot of people, they struggle with finances, right? So what small story could you tell that, I don't know, hit somebody hard there? Are we in a recession? Is a recession coming? Do you want to talk to the people who are looking for extra sources of income, multiple sources of income? Are you looking for people or stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home dads or whatever who are looking for more time with their family to be able to be a family person? However, they don't want to sacrifice their income. Do you want to talk to them? Talk to that pain point. What about the productivity pain point? People are really bad at time management. They don't have enough time. There are scheduling issues. They're overwhelmed. You want to talk to them? Tell them a story about that, right? Make them feel. Also, health, of course, is a pain point. And hello, we have a product that solves so much of that, whether it's they need better mood, energy, focus, fat loss, appetite control, whatever, right? We need to make sure that when we're posting, we're telling a story of who we were or how things used to be. So this is the format: who we were, how we used to be, who we are now, or how whatever you're telling, is now, and where we're going. Who we were, who we are now, where we're going. How it was, how it is now, how is it going to go, right? Tell the story, speaking to people's pain points with a compelling vision for where you're going. People will follow certainty. People will follow people who they know, like, and trust, and they're going to know, like, and trust you through your storytelling. So remember, the purpose of attracting on social media is I need to tell stories that are going to make people feel they're going to want to reach out that olive branch to me, grab it, that's a conversation that I can start in perfect timing. I am all done with that. So hopefully you guys had some takeaways there with the art of attraction through storytelling. Back to you, Stephanie.
Okay, I'm here. I was like, Christina, it's still not unmuting me. First of all, I love that, Jenna. Thank you for sharing. And I loved it. If you guys read the comments, Christina, I love that you shared that. She said, when I first heard this, she said, I told myself that she didn't want to manipulate people with her story. And then she reminded herself of her intention and what she wanted. And I really think, because oftentimes we'll say this, I love that she talked about attraction before we talk about growing your network, because we can get so fixated on, listen, MVP is great. Hitting the bonuses requires us to have new conversations, but the new conversations aren't like blast 18 people on your social media that you haven't had any conversation with and hoping that they buy from you because you said, I have a perfect product for you. You need some fat loss. Like, that's not the relationship and that's not the story. Manipulation to me is throwing 18 messages out there of the person I've never talked to one time and being like, hey, have you been looking for fat loss? Like, I love that. One of the biggest things I tell people is I listen to people when they tell me their favorite, through their stories, their favorite restaurants, their favorite product, anything. And if I'm listening to Jenna and she tells me something to go buy, I trust Jenna and I'm going to go try it. I was telling people in the last 24 hours, I can't remember who it was, that I said there was a restaurant that everybody in our town said that you have to go here, you have to go here. And of course, power of their voice, Steve and I tried it. I thought it was terrible. So you want to know what I tell people? Don't go to that restaurant. It was terrible. Our voices are powerful. And if you do it through your story, right, people that know, like, and trust you, they'll join you, which is why I believe there's two different ways to grow your network. Social media is incredible. And if you're staying consistent, it's a good reminder that people stalk you on social media to know, to like, and to trust you, right? So some people don't want to use it. It's okay. But I'll tell you, in the very beginning, when I started building this business, guess what I did? I did a lot of in-person. I specifically went to parks. I went to science museums. I went to zoos. I went anywhere I went with my girls. My goal was to not leave a physical environment until I met a new mom and I had her on my Facebook page, even the grocery store. But I did that by talking and being silly and getting to know these moms and chatting with them. Like, that's what I did. I learned to attract them, and I got pretty bold and I was like, hey, I'd love to connect with you on social media. Can I add you? But you want to know what she sure did? I can promise you, after she added me, she went and stalked my social media to see if I was real. What was I about? Who was I? So even if you're like, social media isn't my thing, I'm going to say it can be powerful for people to feel like they're knowing you, because you're going to be authentic and you're going to share your story of who you are. Now, here's where I actually need all of us to collaborate before we end this call, because there is an aspect of, well, I haven't added new friends on social media. How do I find these people? I'm not going to give you the nitty gritty of like the 100% how-tos, but I want to give you an awareness or an overview of, there is an aspect of getting new people, finding new relationships, having new friends. And what does that look like? So I think I've done 3 tables in the last couple of weeks with a local girl named Hannah. I saw David on here. David was there. And the reason I think getting into your local environment and doing booths and tables is huge, it's one way to grow your network, is because we had hundreds of people walking by and a couple bought trial packs. But what we did is Hannah handed over her phone and she's connecting with people all day long on social media, so she doesn't lose them. She doesn't start building rapport. And the reason I say it's important to start growing your network is because then you've got a part where you add somebody, right? They watch you, you build the relationship through story over time. And when they're ready, and after you're following up and you're having conversations, they'll become a customer, because everybody needs what we have in lots of different ways. So here's what I actually need you to do in the chat thread, because my hope is you can tell me how you're growing your network. If you're like, shoot, I'm actually not, fine. Don't say anything. I want to give you like 10 seconds. Can anybody share anything in the comments of a way that they are growing their network to physically I don't want to say, I'm going to say this, to build new relationships, to have new contacts, to get new eyeballs on you as you are adding value, they're watching you. So live videos, Jenna says she does lives, vendor booths, 100%. Reels, adding friends from groups on Facebook, happy birthdays. If you don't know what that means, like here's one of the easiest ways you can slip into people's inbox. Go to your Facebook page and send happy birthdays. If you do not know this, for the new people, to everybody that has a birthday that day or that week, right? I think doing reels is great. Reels, TikToks, Facebooks, attracting new people, doing cooking lives. Yes, 100%. Actually, here's something that I love to do. I'll tell you in a second. Talking to people at the pool when you're in your local area and you're out and about, having conversations. My husband tells people this all the time. He's like, if you don't know what to say to people, remember this acronym. And the acronym is FORM, FORM. F stands for family. Hey, tell me about your family. If you're at a pool with people, hey, tell me about your family. Is this your daughter? Are you married? Do you have any kids? O stands for occupation. What do you do? Tell me what you do. R stands for recreation. My husband says this all the time when we're chatting with people out and about. Hey, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? And people are like this. I don't know, because it's incredible to me how it's like baffling that people don't have hobbies. They don't. They're like, I'm a parent and I work. Like, I'm going to say, like, the art of attracting, it's also the art of asking questions, because you're going to be the person that's controlling that conversation, right? And I really want you to get out of like, well, I'm just trying to friend them for ketones. Listen, ketones are incredible. Our community has changed lives. All of you on here are here for a reason. And more people are lonelier, sadder, the amount of mental health issues, the amount of like obesity, all of those things. People don't have a community. You're not being manipulative because you want to friend them on social media. Your goal is to help people, right? Like, my insurance person probably doesn't really care that they're trying to help me save money. Like, they're actually in it for the sale. I believe it. They're not trying to make my mental health better. They're not telling me to think of something I'm thankful for today, or the car person or anybody else that's trying to sell me on things. My goal in my heart, everybody's different. Yes, I want to build a business for my family. Yes, I want other moms to have success and be able to stay home with their kids if they want to, or dads, or whatever the case may be, right? So when you're building a relationship, it's not manipulative. It's very much my goal is to not only get them drinking ketones, I want to add value to their life. And so I was going down a route of, I know. So in general, when you're friending people, I love that you guys all shared that. I just wanted to give you awareness of, if you're talking to the same people, you're talking to the same people, and it's time to start asking questions. Use form, family, occupation, recreation, message. And the message could be anything. It could be anything. Like, it could be your ketone message if it wiggles that way. And after they ask you, the hope is they ask you, you're at the pool, or I was at parks with my kids. My hope is people would say, well, what do you do? Have a quick message. Oh, I share ketones online. I say I help women hit their goals. I like to help people with their health and fitness. I love ketones. What do you know about ketones? My hope is they're going to ask me. But that's just going to give you some questions as you're meeting people at a booth or a table or at a park. Your goal is to build your network. Your goal is to get in front of new people. Being a question person and sharing your story on social media and with people. But I'm going to tell you, social media is powerful. It allows you to reach so many people. And here's one last tip to grow your network that I love to do. And when you're on Facebook, I'm going to say Facebook, for example. In my local town, what I did a while ago is I went to all of the different Facebook pages that were in my local town. So like the gyms, I went to their Facebook pages, the daycares, the schools, the teacher, like I went and I was like, I live in Minnesota. I live in a town called Owatonna, and there's a whole lot of moms in my town. So what I did is I went to those pages and I friended all of the moms that comment on those pages in the MOPS groups and in the Facebook pages. Like I was like, if I'm going to do anything local, I want these moms to start knowing that I'm in their town, who I am, and they're going to start following you. That's one way to grow your network in your local town, in surrounding towns. Where are people that would be like you, and go friend those people, right? And then you can start having conversations. Hey, I saw you on this Facebook page. I live in the same town as you. I just wanted to say hi. That's one way of many ways that you can grow your network. And so add the admins of the group. Yes. So as you're scrolling through booths and tables, local events, asking people questions, friending them on social media, right? Not just posting and praying, not just talking to the same 5 people, not just get into different environments. We're going to go more into this. It was a topic that we talked about for Dallas, but I really wanted to give you a concept today. Do what Jenna said. Like, are you attracting people? What does it look like? Are you telling your story today? An action step could be go tell your story. Why are you drinking ketones? Oh my goodness. I tell people I was a tired mom. I took a nap every single day. Now I don't take a nap. I'm focused to homeschool my kids and I'm not snacking all day long. Those 3 things every mama needs. They don't need to nap. They want to make sure they're focused for their kids and they want to stop eating all the Oreos. That was me, right? So you're relating. Like, do you want to stop napping? Do you want to feel better? Do you want to have less brain fog? And do you want to lose some weight? Hey, let me help you. So anyways, that is all I have for you today. Jenna, did you have anything else you wanted to share? All right. So remember, we've got MVP. If you hit it by this week, reverse engineer, go look at all of your new boxes, right? What do you have for this week? Do you want to hit it by the 15th? Do you want to hit it by the 31st? There's benefits and there's bonuses to both. Being intentional, being consistent, having fun conversations, just like Jenna said, those people that reached out and liked and commented, you grab a hold of those, you send them some messages and you go, hey, I saw that you liked my post. I'd love to share more. Are you interested in ketones? Start the conversation. Have a wonderful day. Set your alarm clock so that you don't miss the calls later today. And if you can join us in Dallas, we would love to see you on Friday. So thank you, everybody, thank you for the Spanish translation. Thank you, Christina, for running this. Thank you, Jenna, for sharing. I hope you guys have a powerful, incredible Monday, and we'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.